Okay, we only have 7 verses today, but it's going to take a while to explain them. Chapter 18 is maybe the most cryptic of all the chapters in Isaiah. Listen to the first 2 verses. Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. Here's what I think's going on. First, every word of this applies to the very last days. That first word, woe, is probably a mistranslation. In Hebrew, it isn't the same word used for condemnations or warnings. This word, hoi, should probably be translated as hail or even hey you. The next phrase, shadowing with wings, has also been translated as clashing of cymbals. It sounds like a cacophony of noise or a land still in chaos. Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia refers to the land south of the Nile's first cataract in southern Egypt, or to the lands beyond Egypt. Using Isaiah's metaphors for the last days, it means lands beyond America. So let's look at a few more words. Rivers are mentioned 3 times in these 7 verses, making them prominent. Bulrush is the English word for cattails. Anciently, the Egyptians made small, fast boats out of papyrus reeds, so sending ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes, means sending emissaries in simple, handcrafted vessels to a nation scattered and peeled. But what's that mean, scattered and peeled? This has also been translated as a people tall and smooth, or even a people tall and beautiful. These are the people of Zion. And as Isaiah says, they're a people terrible from their beginning, meaning they've been dreaded far and wide since their beginning. Isaiah says these are people who were once meted out and trodden down. And of course, they were once by the Assyrians. But, and this is interesting, that same phrase, a people meted out and trodden down, has also been translated as a people strong and victorious. So which is it? A people trodden down or a people strong and victorious? I think it's both. These people are building Zion in a land that was once spoiled, both by the Assyrians and by massive flooding. So perhaps we can render these first 2 verses this way. Hey, you people around the world who are sending ambassadors in small boats to Zion. You're telling them, go to a nation that was once scattered and stripped bare, but is now mighty and greatly feared. Go to these people who were once flooded out and trodden down, but who are now always victorious and very beautiful. As it turns out, these ambassadors from survivors around the world may travel great distances to communicate with these people in Zion. It's something the apostle Orson Pratt once prophesied of. But I will tell you the effect the light of Zion will have upon the kings, queens, and rulers of the earth. They will hear of Zion by telegraph. The news will be flashed over the civilized nations of the earth, but they will not believe it. They will say, let us cross the ocean and let us see this thing that is reported to us by telegraph. Let us see whether it is so or not. And then Isaiah adds this. All you who live in the world, you inhabitants of the earth, look to the ensign when it is lifted up in the mountains. Heed the trumpet when sounded. He's essentially saying, Zion is raised up as an ensign to the world. Look to it and heed its call when it sounds. Now, there's another reason why these people are tall and beautiful. They aren't just sanctified and made perfect. These people have been joined by the people of the city of Enoch, a terrestrial, powerful people who literally came down from the heavens. Zion is an ensign lifted upon the mountains or the nations of the earth. Though the wicked will quail in fear before it, some nations will send ambassadors to find out who these people are and how they got their awesome power. In verses 4 through 6, the Lord says that when these things happen, He himself will come to Zion with blessed rest, and he'll gaze upon his holy people as a warm sun shines upon the herbs of the field. And when he does, the laws and powers of the terrestrial order will distill upon his people as the dews from heaven. And this will happen even as the heat of the final harvest is searing the rest of the earth. In fact, the final conflagration will leave many dead bodies to the birds of prey and to the beasts of the land to feed on them all summer and all winter. And finally, Isaiah says, "In that time shall a tribute be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden under foot, whose land the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, the Mount Zion." Back in verse 1, messengers from other nations traveled to a people who were once scattered and trodden down. Now those same people who were once trodden down are bringing a gift to the Lord, even a holy offering, as we're told, from the sons of Moses and Aaron. And in turn, the Lord will grace them with his presence, which will indeed cause fear to come on all nations because of the terror of the Lord and the power of his might. Even so, amen. I'm Curtis Taylor with the Words of Isaiah.